seconds to final lap. Andy starts his penultimate lap. Drama at the start of the race for him, but it hasn't mattered. He now has 4 seconds to the cars behind, and here we go. It's down the inside of Moksha on Flip. Flip has to concede the position for now. Fellowson trying to follow through, but unsuccessfully so. But wait, he's going to try down the inside into Lagos and gets in a bit of a real spinning moment. He's lost the rear, and now potentially doesn't lose DRS for the time being, but Flip will have the advantage. Coming down into Tory Vips and holds on to the position for the time being. Of course, Flip will have to serve a 3-second penalty, so it will still be third place. But I think for Fellowson, between yesterday and today, I think this one is probably going to hurt the most. I just think it was the wrong tyre call there from Fellowson. I think he could have been on the mediums, have been safe there from Andy, but then again, Andy, I think was going to always be a bit of a difficult car to target for the win. But so Fellowson will lose a bit more ground in the championship, but he can reduce the damage as we start. Well, we're about to start the final lap of the race, and Andy has just got an insane gap now, 5.8 seconds to the cars behind him here. And now Moksha is going to have to try and do everything because he's going to have Flip go through. I don't think there's any question about that. So let's go forward with the kick salver. Flip to the inside there of Moksha. Down his turn one. Does Fellowson have enough to try and get him? No, but he's caught up by just enough to try and have a go into the second DRS zone there. But a bit of a push there. Has to kind of save the car. And now through the left-hander, can he get close enough? No, because Moksha will have DRS as well. So what can Moksha do? Down Story Vips, absolutely nothing as of right now. Fellowson still trying to hang on there. Wow, there's a bit of a kick there from the rear of the car. As now he has to, well, try and settle for third place. I don't think he's going to have another go at Moksha anytime soon. Unless Moksha was to make a fatal mistake, but I just don't see that happening in all honesty.
Have you realized we have a new lobby?
Yes.
As well, Andy Andre, despite what happened at the start, he was relegated down
to you need an open invite?
But it hasn't mattered at all because he has managed to find just over 7 seconds on Moksha, and he will yet again, for the second time in a row, take the win for round 4 in Portimao. So Andy will extend his lead to Fellowson, and Fellowson will be able to catch up, so he will get third place. Moksha in second, Flip in fourth, Jolly Boy John will hold on for fifth, and Enzo will easily hold on to sixth position. A quiet race from the Alpine driver, but who do I give my drive of the day to? I'm not too sure at the moment. Fellowson comes across the line, UJ in.
And we're in. And we're all. Well, I'm on all red. What is it looking like from your end?
Mixed, but mostly green. And for you,
so it's just me. It's just me that's all red then.
Yeah.
It should be all right. All right, I'm gonna go mute and deafen. I'm gonna start the stream.
Yeah. All right.
I don't understand German.
Herman, can you spectate, please?
Yeah. Sorry.
Thank you.
All right then. I'm just gonna mute and deafen. I'll be right back.
Yep.
Okay.
Oge.
Is Herman the German. How are you doing? It's been a long while, and it is very good to see you again, Herman.
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you very much for having me again, David.
Of course, no problem at all. Of course, we are getting started with qualifying this evening. We are currently 13 minutes in, and Andy is top of the timing as of right now. But it is certainly an interesting spectacle. We have qualifying underway. We've got 13 minutes to go still. But Herman, you of course commentated on Division 1 last time out. What's something you're going to be looking out for this evening?
Yeah, tire strategy is going to be very interesting. I discussed at length that the soft tire isn't really the one you want to be putting on if it's a usual 50% race with a one-stopper, but a lot of people opted for the tire at the start, and when there was no early safety car, people were left a bit stranded and couldn't find pace, and medium runners made passes on them, and later in the race we had both Williams drivers, in that case that is for tonight, Fallison and Moksha against Andy, and he needed to go extra long in the mediums, but he made that work, and later you said to me they were fine, so I was a bit put wrong in my opinion about the medium tires at first as well, because the hard tire does a lot of work here, and I expect the medium to last a bit better, but maybe there's also some weather involved here, happens from time to time, so people need to be watching what tire they put on in these first minutes of qualifying, but for now everyone has opted for the softs and was out early because there was some dark clouds, but it has changed into some sunshine, and people are getting their laps in. 13 on the board already, with lots and lots to come in the next moments.
Right, we are currently experiencing some stream problems at the moment, so I'm just going to try and take a few settings and see if we can try and fix this as of right now. But it's going to take me a little bit because I didn't have these problems when I did some testing yesterday. I'm going to see if there's anything I can do. But as of right now, it's not looking good. Let me see if I can do something here.
Yeah, giving you an update on that. The next drive across the line is going to be Race Chase starting off, and 4 other people, including Danger David, have yet to complete a lap, but they're out now on the track and starting complete. Top 3 looking, Andy in front of Pleasant Snack, only 10th between them, then further 1.5 tenths Energetic. Jolly Boy John in 4th, had a very good outing in Portugal 2 weeks ago when we had the full qualifying and the 50% race at Portimao. Moksha 6th currently and very close to Bevish, who needs to find a footing here with Quincy in 8th. Takegino, who didn't pit for a second time and got handed a hefty penalty after Portimao's race stewards looked over, and then Kovacs currently your top 10, as there's Kwon with his McLaren partner Eugene over in their hot laps as of right now, both in the first sector. There's a brief yellow flag in the first turn, but there's only a slower car making way. Flip, who had a very strong showing in the driver today for his 4th place finish and bringing Haas onto the boards with nice points after Water was missing and is missing today again. We also have 2 new drivers. That is Falco as reserve for Williams tonight, as well as Devsy for the missing 2nd Ferrari. That is Daryl, because he had an accident. Wishing you the best. Get well soon, Daryl. And these are currently inside of the top 12, P11, P12 respectively. There's been an incident into turn 1. And just about as I say this, there is Takengino off the track. Goes out of the way. And Danger David is starting his flyer there. Race Chase over the line. Let's see where he can put his car. Currently 15th, goes to 10th. 141.0. Skovelska and Fellison have made their way out again for the Kicksauber outing. Fellison already on to his second run. Andy is out there as well. And we're gonna see Flip finish off his lap now, approaching the most dangerous turns on this track, the fast high speed chicane in the last sector turn 18 and 19. And onto the straight now, flat to the floor, very late. The line approaches you here, and he goes over it to jump to P11, also 144.0. So only David and Kwan. Kwan needs to abandon his lap, cannot complete it. And emergency exit for Eugene into turn 2. Let's see who's next across the line. Is maybe T-Brand, or that's an outlap. Does David now? Oh, he's getting a nice slipstream here from one of the V-Cup drivers. And he's probably gonna find some extra 10th here. Deploy used. The line is close. Jumps to P3. 39.680. That's still 4 tenths behind Energetic, who's currently in second. Has also already improved on his attempt. Fellison, P7 now. Over the line. And the Kicksauber jumps to P2. 4 tenths behind Andy Andre, who's about to complete his second attempt. And he is looking for an improvement. He has found it in the first 2 sectors. He's looking to come into the DRS zone now. Opens the flap in the rear wing, blasts down the main straight. Prime overtaking opportunity into turn 1 will be seen in the race, and he improves by 1.5 tenths to go to P1 with an even bigger advantage. And with Quincy on an outlap, there is Kwan and Eugene. He's pulling into the pit lane, and other people are preparing their lap. Hebron still without one, but he's currently on one. Let's see what the Polish driver can accomplish in the next 2 sectors. And we have Pleasant Snake finishing the first 2 off. Finds nothing after 2 sectors. That is probably going to be an in-lap. 3.5 tenths down with 6 minutes to go. And Jolly Boy John also on another attempt, currently in P7. Oh, Bevish is fighting that car into turn 1. Nothing could be found there. Quincy slow. T-Bran onto the main straight now. Looking for his first time on the board. No time currently by him and Kwan. He is looking like...
Okay, I just wanted to kind of give an update. I'm just going to end the broadcast for 2 seconds, just see what's going on in the background, and then I'll get back to you.
Alright.
Alright, and don't worry guys, try and back in a couple of minutes or so.
T-Bran to P11. Very nice.
Shit. Oh my god, it's not even stopping the stream. It's just frozen.
Just for your information, I have a backup recording going. I'm just gonna commentate over this continuously, okay?
Sure. Not a bad idea.
Falco into the second sector on his second attempt. Andy has already retired from the session with 5 minutes to go. He's feeling very comfortable with his 6 tenths over Fellison right now after a second attempt, and there's now the Williams reserve driver opting for an improvement. Currently fights himself on a 43.0 in P18, goes over the DRS point, opens the flap in the rear wing, improves by half a second, but that is no improvement in terms of position, and Ibo is currently below him. Starts another attempt here. We are seeing Kovachka coming up now. Is that a flyer? No, he's way down on his time. Flip out lap. I think that's Toby maybe. Looks like an in lap. Who else do we got? There's an in lap.
Sorry
There's
for the interruption, guys. Are we sorted on the stream situation?
No, I'm in the middle of sorting it.
But is Herman broadcasting as well?
no, I thought it was fine, but I'm doing a recording, so you can have that.
Oh, okay, wonderful. All right, thanks.
Yeah, no worries. Fallison, Energetic, David currently looking for that second position on the grid. They are all out on and out lap with 3.5 minutes to go. And there's Flip on his probably final attempt, Uji as well. He's inside of this first sector. Is that a slipstream coming from his teammate? No, he just passed him. Missed each other on the way out. And Kwon is just gonna do a one-shot qualifying, it seems, here. Nothing on the board as of right now. Race Chase is one of the early ones to start the final runs here. Takangino also into the second sector here. And we're gonna see Flip and Seibo, who just pulls into the pits as I say that. We have Williams going slowly. There's a V-Carb that might be energetic. Starting his hot lap as well. Then it's Flip, but he has pulled it off. ERS to none, so abandoned attempt, but maybe has enough fuel to go again. Maybe saw this one coming. But David isn't. He has found 310s after Sector 2. After Sector 1, and he's looking likely to be finding more, and Fallison is following him through the cast section. Over the line. The Aston Martin of Jolly Bajon starting his final attempt. Kwon, probably his only one. Race Chase. A second up, almost a second up. Currently close to the end of the top 10 positions. Oh, that's very early on the deploy used here over the line for the Alpine driver. Jumps to P10, 40.4. That is at Max's final position. As we see the second Williams start his final attempt now. David found an improvement. He has Fallison over the line. Has found 1.5 tenths almost. Is to P2. David is gonna stay in P3 and Max. Energetic not out, so no improvement. Moksha can still find something. And there is Takangino. He's done with his attempt, it seems. Yeah, not gonna continue further. The FC currently P17, reserve Ferrari driver for today as the full-time driver, and Toby Lenzen comes over the line now. Quincy also starting a lap now, very late into the final minutes. 15 seconds actually on the clock now. Flip for his final attempt. Takangino also his final attempt. There's now 2 seconds left, but Jolly Boy John finishes off his qualifying with a 5th place for now. Kwon's only attempt is good enough for P18, but both of the drivers behind him will not complete another lap. Next across the line seems to be Pleasant Snake, only 300 faster. And that would not make an improvement in terms of positions. Kovaska's right behind him. No, in front of him, that's Fallison behind him. Kovaska stays 16th. What can the Norwegian do? Finds a slight improvement, stays in P7. Fallison has invalidated whatever was left of his in lap Bevish. 210s, he could beat Snake. How is it looking for the V-Carb? Better ERS deployment here, closer to the line. P6! And Jolly Boy John has crashed it on the in-lap. Doesn't do anything for his final timing and final position on the board. Devsy had to abandon his attempt. There's P15 for Toby. Quincy over the line stays P9. Taki and Gino gets a slipstream from David. Yes, is used quite early. Flip to P10. And Taki and Gino to P11. And as David heads into the pits, we are settled on the final qualifying position. Andy has been looking fantastic in qualifying recently. Adds a 4th pole out of 5 races now to his name. And is going to be starting the Azerbaijan Grand Prix from P1. Moksha 2nd, Fellas in 3rd. That is the most common podium now. You can also refer to this as Hamilton, Verstappen and Bottas in any order you like.
I don't understand German.
Okay, so can Herman share the stream and then you can commentate over that and we'll try and fix some issues later.
Yeah.
I know it's not ideal, but it is what it is. Can't do much.
I'm gonna quit my game.
Okay. Alright, I'll leave you guys to it.
Thank you. Thank you, Herman.
No worries.
Alright, now as we wait for the countdown to go underway into the race, Herman, can you just let us know who was on pole and round out from there?
Yeah, so that was Andy who just took the pole position by roughly 4/10 there. Fellison behind Moksha, and that's your top 3. And we've seen some good laps from individuals, including Jolly Boy John and Bevish, who just finished off in P6 there. And as we've tried to establish in the first round, I would like to know what kind of prediction you want to get. Obviously, you just missed qualifying a bit, but you know these drivers now. What is your prediction for the race?
I'm going to say that Andy goes on top, and I think Fellow Son's going to give it a good fight. So I do think Andy to be on top ahead of Fellow Son. And that 3rd place is where I'm a little bit unsure of. I think we might see Moksha up in the podium again. So I think I'm going to say Moksha for P3 again. I'm going to play it safe. So it's Andy in 1st, and then it is Fellow Son 2nd and Moksha 3rd.
Yeah, I think I have to agree with you on the Andy part. I didn't put a vote wrong yesterday. There was only this part where it was a bit questionable in terms of this, the tire choices, but he needed to go in with this safety car being out there at that stage. And he needed to commit to that, let them from the restart, and didn't look back from that. And obviously with the softer tire, he also had better warm-up and made good use of that without shredding the tires. And when the later stages kicked in, people started to find once again behind him. I'm just gonna go with Moksha's current momentum and put him in 2nd and put Fellison in 3rd. I've seen races obviously where Fellison seems to be always inside of this favorite group we are talking about, especially this season. And also like we can say that David is close to that, but also hasn't raised like yesterday, for example. Fellison has some knowledge about what the tires are going to be doing, and it looks dry for the moment, so I expect him to be with an advantage here. So the Williams pair from yesterday of Division 1 will probably round out that podium in these 2 positions.
Yeah, I think that, Andy has absolutely had a great start to the season, of course. He's not been used to, being at this stage. He's always had something go wrong, especially in season 3 and 4. There was a couple of DNFs thrown in there for good measure, and then he always kind of brought it back. So he's not actually used to kind of being out on top. So his season has started the way I think that he would have wanted to. And it has been an absolute it's been an absolute joy to kind of see his season go from strength to strength as he's gone along. So I can only think that Andy is going to be our runaway winner. But I don't think Fellowson will take this lying down. But he's more of a master in the wet, although he is becoming a jack of all trades. It seems like season 5 could be his chance to maybe go for the title next season. But I just think it's a bit late to try and go for it now. Maybe just considering where Andy is in terms of his pace. But I'll let's see what happens up and down the field. I'm really looking forward to this one. Of course, Baku is a very tight and twisty street circuit, and we'll see what happens. But of course, we're not too far away from lights out. We're just waiting for the strategies to be decided. So, Herman, just while we've got some time, do you want to just run through the strategies that you saw in Division 1 last night?
Yeah, so for Andy, you did in Portimao and in Belgium as well, you opted for that medium to start on, doesn't trust the soft at all for the race start. It looked to be going a good 4 to 5 laps with the high fuel, and some people inside the top 10 did that. What was interesting to me is that when the top 4, including Control, Moksha, Fellison, and Andy, were inside of a fight, Williams didn't opt to undercut with one of these cars as we go to 5 red lights for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix.
5 red lights on your screen, and it's go in Azerbaijan, and it's a good start there from Andy Moksha there in second, holding on to it for the time being. Fellowson finding no way around, but look at Danger David into 4th place right away, side by side with the V-carb of Babish there. The Mauritius driver having a very good start, even a very good qualifying, but at the moment Andy has gotten away quite convincingly. We have a yellow flag for a Ferrari of Toby in Sector 1, but he's underway, so that will be cleared sooner rather than later. Now we're going side by side with Quincy and Jolly Boy John. Quincy to the outside there, that's very unlikely, but he might hold it for the inside into the next corner. Bit of contact between them, but it looks like it's all worked out quite nicely. And look at that already, as we see Andy 1.7 seconds ahead, make that 2 seconds, as we see a bit of side-by-side action with Flip there in the Haas. But look at that, that's all worked out beautifully for Andy. And now Danger David up into 3rd after Fellowson had a bit of a bad couple of moments, and Moksha is still in the podium, Herman.
Yeah, certainly looks like there was a good start from Fellowson and Moksha respectively, but then they just fought too much, and that opened an opportunity not only for Andy to get away, but also David to be inside of the top 3. And sometimes Fellowson is just very horrible on track limits, so he might be looking forward to regaining that 3rd place sooner rather than later if some time penalties come his way. And there's front wing damage to the right hand side end plate of the Kick Sauber as well. And he's on the medium tires. That's not gonna be looking good.
Sorry about that, Herman. We had a bit of a moment there with the McLaren at the final turn there, but it looks like it all cleared up. So Yuji having a bit of a moment there, and he's now 2.3 seconds behind the Ferrari of Sargent, and Fellowson into the pits right away, while Andy takes the fastest lap up. Moksha has taken the time out of Andy Andre. It is now only 1.2 seconds. It was 2 seconds earlier on in the lap. But now at lap 2, Moksha able to bring that gap down, and as we have another yellow flag. Oh, there is several incidents at turn 1, and the Haas having to take avoiding action there.
Close.
But Williams just pointing the right way. That is Falco Roria there. But there you go, Fellowson and Yuji in the pits right now, and Fellowson having to make an earlier stop than he would have predicted. But remember, this is a 2-stop league now. So remember, there has to be a second pit stop straight after this one.
Yeah, and he's looking to extend his second stint on the hard tires. They are going to be going long, at least 80 laps you can expect from them in terms of tire life. But if there's a safety car right now, some of these drivers may want to opt to get rid of the soft tires and maybe do that cheeky double strategy we've been seeing from Sinful. And he is certainly want to pioneer this for this current format we are having inside of Season 5, as we can see that Pleasant Snake has already lost touch to the front running group down from Moksha, and he's leading a train on his own, trying to get away from Flip, who's currently on the hards, and that has opted well for him. So jump back to the top 2 in the fight for what is essentially that best of the rest behind Andy right now, looking at his form.
There you go, and Moksha now under pressure from the Red Bull of Danger David. The Alpine and the Red Bull go side by side. It was academic there, but Danger David finally back into a battling position, and now they've got to try, well, there's something that they can do here. Maybe they could try working together to try and catch up to the back of Andy and make this a very entertaining first stint for all of us watching. But as of right now, it's looking very unlikely. Andy looks like he's got that pace all sorted out, and he's probably just managing things as of right now. I mean, he's, is 1.4 seconds. He's not under any immediate pressure. Is David better through these corners? That's all we're going to find out, as now we're seeing side-by-side action for 9th place. Flip round the outside of Tark and Gino in the Red Bull, and now Flip up into 9th place. Flip finding pace this season. Quincy was telling me about how Flip is a very quick driver, but when he first came along, he hadn't been on the game for a few months, so it just took him a bit of time, but now we're starting to see these glimpses of that fast pace that Quincy claimed he had come to fruition. So we'll see how that goes throughout the season, but there we go. Just focusing around back up to 3rd place, I think I would just like to have a look there, as we're seeing Danger David lead the pack, and he's gained about a 10th there on Andy Andre on lap number 3, but then he loses a couple of tenths through the corners, so it looks like Andy is perfectly set up where he needs to be, and now we're about to approach DRS zone number 2 round the lap, but here we go. Herman, let's see what happens.
I'm keeping an eye on these energy levels, and Moksha is currently charging behind. We have seen that from multiple racetracks where there's only one really long straight and people are just turning it down to 0, but he's turning it up to 11, goes around the outside just before the breaking point into P2 again. Moksha in his favorite position for the last couple of races in both divisions, as David is now dropped down to 3rd. Oh, multiple cars here. Going for it into turn 1, slight movement from Tark and Gino to the outside, and there's now Kovac on the inside. Very tricky curb to get right there on the inside of turn 2, but they managed to scrape through it, and he's using that DRS now with the DRS assisted side by side, but he breaks later, and Tark and Gino lets him through there into turn 3, and he's now into P9, second kick Sauber that is.
Absolutely, Kovachka up into P9 there, and now we look back to the battle for the lead because Moksha has taken a bit of a chunk out of that lead up into 2nd place. The Alpine driver taking DRS from the Red Bull of David, and now is actually getting away from David a little bit, who's falling into the hands of Bavish, the Mauritius driver. Here, making himself really look good this time around. Last time he didn't put in the best of performances, but this time something has come together. It was, Andy having a bit of a moment there, has lost a few tenths. That's brought him into the 1 second bubble. So now Moksha could be looking at having a go. The detection zone is after these couple of corners. You go through the left and right hand sweeper here, and then you'll see the detection zone. But no, at the moment, Andy has just saved that by the skin of his teeth. And I don't think Moksha has DRS.
No.
I don't think so, no.
That there might be an opportunity for David now. And into turn 1 on the inside he goes. Easy and clean DRS pass there for the Red Bull driver. Swaps back again, and they are still in that 1 second window, and David is now going to be the first guy after 5 laps to be inside of DRS window of Andy Andre. And there's a yellow flag after a brief collision, and there's a safety car, Tark and Gino. And there was also the Haas of Sir Ibo. That is, or is that Flip? That is Flip on the hard tires. Oh no.
And we were just talking about how good his pace was, and unfortunately for him has gotten involved in an accident at turn 1, which we didn't quite fully witness. But Flip now with no front wing, and Tark and Gino looks to be missing a bit himself. He got a 10-second penalty as a result. Now, as also in the background, you can see Fellow Sun and Falcon Warrior coming into the pit lane. So it looks like Fellow Sun is now going to do his second stop. Oh, sorry.
there was an emergency exit taken by Energetic into turn 6. That was very late on the brakes there, but he has also suffered severe front wing damage from a collision that was probably involved in there with Flip and what was left of Targentino there, as they both were sideways and around on the track, and that is another big time loss here, as we're under safety car conditions. No one is really getting anything out of that right now. Andy will be probably staying ahead. Because there is the safety car waiting at the exit of turn 2. Usually when you pass the pit lane entry, sometimes you can benefit off of that if the timing is just right. But I think every driver, apart from the bottom 5, will go in now, and they will be looking to try to get one tire away, and especially Energetic and Quincy have been gambling on that early safety car, and they were gonna, they are licking their fingers right now, because the soft tire worked for them. P5 and P6 respectively isn't too bad of a start for race 2, and we are looking at, there was a double stack from Andy obviously, but Bevish has stayed out. No, he was just overtaking cars in the pit lane, and that is the hard tire for David, so longer stint as well for Jolly Boy John, Quincy as well, and Snake also opts for the hard tires, Andy, Moksha and Bevish for the softer medium, and they will be trying to get away after this safety car phase to make sure they are not in traffic for the final pit stop.
Absolutely. So, moving with things now, let's see where people are at the end of, well, their first pit stops. Now, I do just want to note as well, fellow Son came into the pits as well. He's now done his 2 stops, but those medium tyres can't go to the end. By the time the pack has fully caught up, that will be that, of course. So we should be underway. If Sir Ibo can get onto the back of the pack in time, we'll probably be underway by the end of this lap. Although it is looking a bit close in the middle there. If we look at Tabran, he's still trying to catch up there in 11th to the pack, so he's not going to be too far away, probably a couple of corners. Ibo is now out of the pit lane. He's got 15 seconds to make up, so
Oh
no! What has happened here? Some drama has come around. There's Tarkangino involved with it, but somebody just getting a bit desperate. Doesn't look to be any front wing damage to either car, but the McLaren of Kwan having to let Tarkangino through. Probably just a bit of a moment there, but that's probably going to delay things enough to the point where we'll probably go underway on the next lap. But it will be very interesting regardless. But Andy Andre holding on to that lead for now, and Danger David, well, drops a position to Moksha as well. And well, now, yeah, we're going to be we won't be underway on this lap now, that's for certain, after all that drama. So it will be lap 8 out of 26 when we go underway again. And for fellow Son, that's only good news, Herman.
Yeah, I'm looking at that. Devsy hasn't pitted yet, so that is certainly an interesting choice. Medium tires are not going to feel very good, and everyone has now opted for that first pit stop, and I think that might come back to him, because with the safety car ruling and the 2 stops, just as we talked about, he just figured I might well go in, because we have an extension here, just as you mentioned. I'm interested to see what Fallerson is opting as a plan here. His mediums will not go the distance 100%, but he has also cleared the way in terms of his strategy already. So the next safety car is gonna be 100% on his side, and also fresher and better medium tire, and his overall pace compared to these guys around him will help. But he needs to make sure that he isn't stuck in traffic. He makes some moves, no fights longer than a turn basically, and then he can get on, start getting at the back of the drivers on the hard, currently looking at P4 to P6 with Quincy and Snake, and as well as Jolly Boy John. And then when he pits, he needs to be making that undercut if there's no safety car intervention until that, to make sure that he's going for that maybe top 5 finish. And that's really his only way. You can see that working towards him. He doesn't need to follow any other rules than that after this one already. So everyone else if they do a mistake, stay out too long on any tire, they will be suffering in the long term, because any intervention, even the VSC, can cost you. And it's certainly going to be interesting what his restart looks. And certainly predicting the race he will be having at the end of this.
As now we are approaching the end of the safety car period, it is now going to be now or never for Andy. He's got to try and make those medium tyres work for as quickly as he can, because obviously towards the end of the stint, Danger David's hards will be in better shape. Safety car called in by race control. So now Andy Andre has got to control the pack. Now he can control it up until the safety car goes into the pit lane. So keep an eye on that yellow dot on the bottom right hand side of your screen there. Once it's in the pit lane, it is up to Andy when we go. So Andy, now that we're looking at the back of the car, take it away in the audio. He was going a little quick for my liking, but look who is absolutely on the dot. Babish there up into second place. What a restart from the V-Carb driver. Impressive stuff. That's now Quincy going side by side with energetic Quincy up in the fifth, but at what cost? It is now a front wing end plate that has gone missing. Whose was it? I'm not sure. It looked like a Mercedes. It might be Quincy, but even then, don't quote me on that. It doesn't look to be, so we'll have to figure that out as the race goes on. But Babish there with an impressive restart. Fellow Son up into 10th place, and he's going to try going down the inside into this turn. Surely not. He gets it done, however, so the risk and the reward made it worth it in the end. But at the moment now, Fellow Son needing to make up places, but he's missing an end plate. So was that the end plate we saw flying off as a McLaren gets squirrely in the background there, up into the castle.
Oh, Moksha! On the inside of this turn, going side by side to the castle section. Around the outside for the castle section, Moksha, are you crazy? And there's a collision. There's a collision and there's a huge pile up. Takajino and Kwan are out. Oh my words. There's a reason why you don't attempt that, and there's more calamity. Also spin for the Ferrari because they're ghosted. And this VSC has now turned to the full safety car. Oh my words.
Unbelievable stuff. Takajino and Kwan are our first two casualties in the race. And that was because of Moksha going side by side with Fellow Son into the castle section. I imagine Fellow Son is going to have words with the Alpine driver there. Of course, they were fighting for a podium earlier on, and now essentially there's a free pit stop for a lot of people involved. Danger David obviously doesn't take it, but Andy and Babish do, and in fact a few other the medium drivers are going for it because they know they can get on the hards now and go straight to the end of the race. There wouldn't really be any need for a pit stop. But I can't imagine how the admin of the league is feeling, Quincy, about all these collisions, because he's certainly going to have a few words, remember. And now Moksha into the pits again.
What was that from?
Yeah, he's crashed it.
Yeah.
It was a crash. He's gone.
Oh my word.
Unbelievable. So Fellow Son out of the race. And now our championship contender is gone. And Andy Andre, well, he's got 3 points, unless if Danger David could do something. Need to look at the standings just to kind of see where everything is. But at the moment, it is an absolute mess for Fellow Son, who is our championship contender. It has been an absolutely dreadful start. But it's been a dreadful evening for the Hungarian driver, and he'll have to try and pick it back up next week. We'll see what happens then, but as of right now, Danger David is your current leader as he decided not to pit under safety car conditions. And well, I don't know if he needs to make another pit stop. I don't know if you can check that just briefly, Herman. Yes, he will.
Oh, Moksha!
So, whoa! Moksha there.
This is not Baku drift.
Yeah, absolutely. A bit of a drift there, Herman, and into the escape mode.
This race just completely... he just retired. He just retired as well. What is going on? Maybe Fellison felt the frustration that he was like pushed into the wall by Moksha. Maybe he just felt that was no going back, because as you just talked over the possibilities and the standings, Moksha received another 10-second time penalty for collision with Eugene, who is currently inside of P16 at the back of the field. And now both second and third places are not gonna score. David is over 40 points behind Andy Andre, and hasn't made his second stop because he's on the hard tires. And that was something I was looking at yesterday as well. Andy was on the hard tire for the second stint, then the safety car came just about where the medium would maybe do the distance. Another intervention preserved the tires a bit, and he just went flat to the floor until the end. Fights behind him enabled this opportunity. Kovacs Quincy back into the pits again. Quincy also seemed to be having the second hard available to him. I saw him do that yesterday as well. Certainly a good option if you have these kind of races where just everything gets thrown on head within minutes, because that was already the second safety car. And we have also had some medium drivers at the front, including Race Chase, Flip and T-Brand, who didn't opt for that hard tire right now. They have been seriously good with position gains, but as you can see, everyone else has done at least a second stop and they're good to go. Some are on the mediums as well. Jollywood John, Falcor, for the moment. Doesn't mean anything. It's still going to be a stretch for these tires, but certainly looking good for Andy, despite him being in P6 right now, but that's only a matter of time. Oh my word.
Twists and turns here in Season 5, and well, if you wanted a close championship, well, you're going to have to rely on somebody else or something happening to Andy later on down the line, because he could now really look to increase his championship lead in this season, and it would be very unlikely as long as nothing happened to Andy later on down the line. Remember, going into this evening's proceedings, Fellow Sun was 14 points behind. He's gone. He will not be scoring any points. Moksha, 31 points behind, also will not be scoring any points. And so your next nearest one is, as Herman said already, Danger David, 41 points behind the championship leader. So it is imperative that he takes this next stint of races and actually tries to finish ahead of Andy Andre and start bringing down this gap. But at the moment, as Herman has already stated, no pit stop. A second pit stop hasn't been done by the Red Bull driver. And Andy and David share the same compound of tyre, but the only difference is the tyre life. By 3 laps, we will have another safety car lap before we go racing again. So it will be officially lap 12 out of 26 when we go racing yet again. But also, I just need to say, Bavish is actually having an absolutely outstanding round thus far. Last time I saw him, of course, was all the way outside in the top. Was all the way outside the top 10, and now finds himself battling with Andy Andre, and had an impressive restart on Danger David as well to get him up into second place. So he's the driver that I've been looking out for as well. So don't count him out just yet. But our top 3 prediction, apart from Andy Andre, is completely out the window. So I would have to say now, I'm going to say Bavish will get there in second place. Maybe, but Danger David as well will be in that top 3. But Andy Andre, well, with all these new contenders coming in for the win, I'm not sure anymore. I'm kind of just, I don't know. I just don't know, Herman. How are you feeling about the race going forward from here?
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna put my money on both V-Cups. They're certainly, they're in net P2 and P3 because everyone in front of them needs to make a pit stop, and that is obviously in front of Andy. And one thing that is for certain, we're not going to get a repeat of the Andy, Andre, Moksha, or Fellison in any order you like podium. And if David doesn't finish on the podium, Rush is not here, we're gonna get at least 2 more fresh podium sitters, and Bavish, new to the league, looking for his first one in a very short amount of time. Just joined the league recently, and he's looking for a very strong performance and showing for the team here today. That is currently in last position, 17 points on the board for Racing Bulls, and they could be looking at a 2024 Brazilian Alpine double podium if they play it right and there's no other intervention, because if there's another intervention, BSC or full safety car that is now peeling into the pit lane, they will be looking at a good showing, but Energetic needs to make sure he doesn't do the same mistakes as yesterday. He started in 4th, I think, and didn't complete the race inside of the top 10, only 13 with, I think, 30 seconds down the road. Horrible ending to his race, but he can make this one right for today. He has all the experience from yesterday. The conditions are perfect for him, not only in terms of strategy, but also in terms of the race right now. And as we said before, all of these top 5 need to go in again for sure.
Absolutely, but here we go now. We're going to focus on the safety car restart. Remember, 12 out of 26 will be left to go once we're underway. And Andy, David even, my apologies, has wasted no time in getting underway. And Race Chase a bit left for dust here, but for how long? Because look, there's Pleasant Snake as well, under pressure from Flip, but it's as you were going into turn 1. And here we go. What's going to change? Quincy makes a move for 13th place in the background. There is a pass going wide. Sir Ribbo there getting out of the way. Ferrari also had a moment, and the kick salver of Kavachka having a moment as well. So unfortunately for him, very much going down the order, but Ibo there having a dramatic moment. Looked like he was avoiding a collision or something there. Not sure, we didn't fully catch it, but at the moment now, Danger David remains to be your leader of this race. But dramatic stuff happening up and down the field still. Andy, though, just kind of deciding to remain where he is, still up in 6th as of right now, but Flip as well, still trying to find a way past of Pleasant Snake here, and really needs to get this move done sooner rather than later if he wants to really try and get to the leaders. But remember, like Herman said before the restart, the top 5 need to make their obligatory second stop. You cannot just go for one pit stop and then call it a day. No, it is a mandatory 2-stop league, and that's what the top 5 need to do. So that's the advantage Andy, Bavish and Energetic have behind, although I do think David is saving something special for later on in the race. And there you go, Flip has made his move for 3rd there in the background. Didn't need the corner, or he might have done it at the last corner, but we didn't fully see the overtake. So there we go, Flip does get past, but he's left that a little late, so he's going to be vulnerable with the slipstream to the cars behind Herman.
I'm looking at how it Racers understood the assignment and tries to get away from these guys. Snake just helped him putting a hole into the drivers behind. There's no opportunity here for him, but they're racing forward almost as Andy is looking to make multiple moves here. Daniel Ricciardo of 2017, and he's into P3. What a move by the Romanian championship leader. He just takes 3 guys on the straight and hits the wall. That's certainly his front wheel gone. T-Bran is looking to race him down to turn 3 on the inside with the DSS assistance. He is going side by side with the Mercedes. There's also the V-Cup looking for a gap, and Bavish goes for it. Another caution into turn 1, but it's all good for now as Eddie has lost the position again. 2 down now into P5, and he's looking for another pit stop maybe.
I don't think he actually lost any front wing end plate, though I haven't had a good view of it. Yes, he has.
It's gone, it's gone.
It is completely gone there, so that will mean he's losing downforce, and now Andy basically needs to make another pit stop, and now Bavish is effectively your new leader of the race.
Oh, another collision with Quincy.
Absolutely turned around as Quincy's in the barrier. How on earth did he manage that? It looked like he just went straight in, so there might have been contact with another driver there. But for Quincy, that's a disaster as well. He's got to go back into the pits as well and get that changed. So both Mercedes having an absolute nightmare on lap 13 out of 26. But now Bavish is very close onto the tail of 3rd place here. Here we go into the DRS zone. It will be in just a couple of moments. We are approaching the activation, well, the detection zone, which is just after this corner. And there we go, that green dot on the map there, indicating where the detection zone is. Here's the activation zone. That rear wing should open like a letterbox. Here we go, Bavish with little to nothing in his battery. It's going to go to the inside, into turn 1, and he is up into 3rd place as of right now. As Aston Martin in the background has a moment as well into turn 1. It is absolute chaos. But what's happened to Bavish? What's happened?
Oh no! He's into
Bavish has got it wrong. He went into the emergency exit, Herman.
Yeah, and T-Bran is now fighting for his life for P3 with Andy staying out. He's thinking he can still do this. And Flip is still with them, still needing to do his second mandatory stop. But this is helping because the gap is opening up. Everyone is fighting. And the second train is led by the second McLaren of Huge. And they're getting away. And the opportunity for a pit stop window is opening up very soon. As we once again head into the castle section. Bevish fighting with Toby, gets one done into turn 7. And compared to both of the Mercedes driver, he hasn't lost any of his front wing. Race Chase still keeping with David for now, looking at the tires. Yeah, they're gonna be worn soon. As Energetic takes Pleasant Snake before turn 16. And he's trying to get away here now. And he's close, but not right in the DRS. Now he just made it to the DRS window of the Haas ahead. And he can open that flap in the rear wing. Top 2, nothing changes. Andy to the outside of T-Bran into P3.
Mercedes driver and current world championship leader as well. We see Barish now trying to make up positions. It doesn't look like he's got any front wing damage, so his downforce is going to be fine, and his grip more than likely still optimum, but now needs to get a few positions, so he's going to have to make quick work of everything. Looks like he's also saved some battery, so he's over 40%, and he's just trying to look after things, just get back into a rhythm. But also, while getting back into the rhythm, he's made a few positions up already. And don't forget, as we keep saying, the top 5, mostly, do need to make another stop. So few drivers still in an exception to the rule here. Now, Andy has made his way past a couple of drivers as well. But remember, he's got that front wing end plate damage. So those hards might be a bit more used than the drivers around him. So Danger David might be playing this to an absolute beauty. It is going to be interesting to see what the last stint of the race will look like for the Red Bull driver. It's certainly one that's going to have us on the edge of our seats till the very end. 11 laps to go. The line, we are over the halfway point, and there has been so much drama. We've seen 4 drivers call it a day here in Baku for one reason or another, and 2 of your top 3 in the championship are already gone. As Andy there in the wall, and there's somebody spun round. It's Babish. Oh, the Mauritius driver has completely lost it, and sadly, we were praising on how his form had improved, but sadly, his consistency is not there. And Herman, we see Jolly Boy John in the Aston Martin up into 7th, but a nightmare for Babish this evening.
Yeah, I think we just cursed him a bit. They're talking about all these opportunities, and then there was a cracking under pressure, maybe. It just seems to be eager to get it back again. And there's another incident of Pleasant Snake. Gets it all wrong for turn 2. Covert Scarpa into P8. Oh my. And Bevish is probably into the pits now. Is there another pit stop for Mikhail? Looks like it. This is down to P15, last points paying position. Onto fresh medium tires with a front wing change. And Andy has already left T-Bran behind. The old medium tires not working, and Flip is closing in on the Polish driver in the Aston Martin as well. As they're forming a new group here with Energetic and Jolly Boy John. Energetic still looking to be in the fight for P2. Current gap 2, the leader is only 8.6 seconds, so that won't be enough for David to be coming out ahead of them. But his tire advantage will be there. Let's see, he needs to fight through the field, and fights through the field have been one hell of an issue for some drivers. Not for Andy, has made it work despite his limitations, and Race Chase has been gapped now by the Red Bull in front. Let's see if he's opting for the pit stop soon. Doesn't look like it at the moment. ES is also very low. If you're not inside the DRS window of the car in front, you are certainly losing out on that nice benefit. And Bevish has retired, and that's another safety car because it's in the caster section. And this is perfect for David because Andy and him have both passed the pit lane entry, and everyone who will be coming out needs to be sticking to a delta. So David effectively will be holding a good position inside of these top, let's say, 8 positions, if he can get a nice pit stop at the end of this lap.
Well, don't forget as well, Andy RJ has damage to his front wing. He's not going to want to carry that all the way. So I would say don't be surprised if you see David and Andy come into the pits. Race Chase, I would say he comes into the pits as well as the other, well, apart from Pleasant Snake here, I would say he's going to be the one exception to the rule. His mediums can go all the way to the end, and they will be basically fresh. Haven't had much time on them at all. He's still on 0 laps. Quincy now, of course, going to have a second bite at the cherry. He's had 4 pit stops due to damage in this race, as has Eugene there in 10th place in the McLaren. So a lot of field will, again, concertina together. I think this is our 3rd or 4th safety car. It's been one of those kind of races. But now Babish is our next victim and will sadly have the 2nd race in a row where he doesn't finish on the, well, inside the top 10, so it's a bit of an unfortunate circumstance for him. But now, as we see David come through the final couple of corners now, it will be 9 to go at the line, and then he should really come in. There's not really much else he could possibly do. Moksha also leaves the session, so he's seen enough as far as he's concerned. He was one of our earlier victims who brought out safety car number 2. But at the moment now, David comes through the pit lane entry, and as we expected, into the pits, as does Race Chase, as does Andy. So there you go. That's all you need to know about that. In fact, as does everybody else, apart from somebody.
Jolly Boy John
is going to stick to his 2-stop. Oh, that is very risky, Herman.
No, 9-lap-old mediums already. That is very risky. And Race Chase is also going risky. Currently, I'd say the medium is still going to be outlasting the soft at the end, but he's going to pull out a gamble here, and he's opting for anything that can maybe stick him inside of the podium fight. And we can see that Flarko even has made it with this staying out strategy. T-Band soft as well. Flip, more conservative as well as his Dutch colleague in Energetic. So, yeah, what was a nice opportunity has now turned itself into a lot of work for Energetic. And he needs to be making sure that he gets at least a good run on these older medium tire runners, and currently in P1 and P4. And yeah, as you can see, Andy down into P8 on the fresh softs. Interesting to see how that works for him. Expect a lot of pace, but also a lot of rear tire wear. And yeah, if people fight too aggressively, and we are at the latter stages of this race, he might be in trouble, just like Moksha and Fallison were, and that can go horribly wrong very easily. And I have to say, lots and lots of people currently inside the good points paying position without really of a showing right now, so far inside of the season. We had Flip's good race in Portimao, first points finish on the board, currently sitting at 17 total. He's looking for a nice finish here today. T-Brand inside of the top 10, that isn't too bad as well. Flarko first race, not sure if he's gonna make it. Pace doesn't look like it, and tire life is gonna be tricky for him. And Danger David is looking for another podium, probably making it 3 out of 5 for the first opening 5 races. And Jolly Boy John, yeah, that's gonna be a tough one. Currently in 5th, close to David in terms of position in the standings, but yeah, David is probably gonna do mincemeat of him in very short and quick succession. Race Chase only as a reserve, down in 25th, 2 DNFs, 1 finish only, and 0 points. Looking for a podium finish here. That's going to be certainly one to watch out for. And we didn't have that on our bingo cards, as we discussed already for our predictions. The usual Moksha, Fellas, and Andy podium currently off the cards. And yeah, if something goes horribly wrong, we could be seeing no one of them on the top 3 steps today. And that would be certainly a very upsetting result to our current championship season.
What he needs to do in reality is just keep it calm there, not go for moves that cause him to be desperate. The damage to David is already done. Like, no, he's had to come in to replace that front wing, as I've gone on about time and time again. So I would say kind of kind of forget about the win this time around and maybe just try and at the very least be in the top 5, maybe even the top 3. I just don't think it's going to be the best call to actually try and make these desperate moves. But we'll see what Andy can do. He's made miracles happen from worse positions, so we'll certainly see what the Romanian driver is made of. Remember, he's 3 times in a row championship, and it's not for good reason. It's not for a non-good reason, if I've made sense of that correctly. But we are going to be racing on lap 20 out of 26. The little safety car should be called in a few moments' time. But as of right now, Jolly Boy John, I don't think we'll hold on to that lead for much longer. I think it's going to be a matter of corners before we see Danger David overtake him and then run away with things. So for Race Chase, he's got to be right on the back, and same for Falco Warrior as well, who I did not do, like Herman said earlier, wasn't on our bingo cards. But anyway, safety car should be called in towards the final corner, and then we'll have to just take it from there. So, Herman, what are you thinking now? Where's your head at as safety car is now called?
I think David needs to get on fast, probably overtake Jolly Boy John inside of that first safety car restart lap before the DRS opens. And if he's lucky, Race Chase fights them so much that he has no one inside of his DRS window at the start of the second lap, where we get DRS into turn 3. And then he's good to go for a nice win, because there's certainly some work to do still for Andy. If he gets 3-4 positions in the first 2 laps, I think he's certainly going to be in the podium. Win could be tricky, but all eyes on Jolly Boy John now as we go for the restart.
And he's gone there. He slowed the pack right down, caught David a little bit, napping a little bit, but David Moore shouldn't take too long to get right onto the back of the Aston Martin driver here. And there you go in one turn. You can see there was a crash there for Race Chase into the barrier at the exit of turn 1 there. That was really unfortunate stuff for the Alpine driver, but that is going to hurt Race Chase now. So that means Andy could be helped out a little bit. In fact, Andy already making a move around the outside there on Energetic, and he's got that move done. Try not to go into the back of the car ahead, but he's going to remain side by side with Energetic. But it's going to be a short-lived battle for the V car, because that's going to be superior soft tyre advantage. There was a moment with the Aston Martin caution in sector 1. What for? I'm not sure. Looks like Pleasant Snake inside a moment as well. And Andy up 2 positions now. Overtakes Tabran, who looked like he had a moment as well, and now he's right on the back of Falco Warrior. Danger David didn't make use of the restart.
Oh, Jolly Boy has crashed it! Into the caster section, another safety car! Oh my word! This race is just crazy today. Snake already passing the already removed strict. Is another front wing damage to Pleasant Snake. He is not having a great race. He was inside the top 6 at the restart, and then it went down the hill once again, and no one interested to see if anyone else does something. I hope that Falco kind of sees an opportunity. I think Quincy, Toby, they could be going all in here, because they're just going to lose a couple of positions. And we just saw another crash, and it can happen with more cars than just Jolly Boy John again. And you can risk it here at the end. Like, you're not going to lose so many positions as of right now anyway. Just a short sprint, but if people are not getting the tires up to temperature, or just, don't watch out for what just happened to Jolly Boy John, they could be onto something. And let's see if they do something. There's someone into the pits. Oh, that's another DNF inside the pit lane. Oh my word. How can this happen twice? What are we seeing here? Ibo 10 seconds, and there's Quincy in. Toby stayed out. But also Devsy and obviously Pleasant Snake. There's basically no wing left on that Williams. I don't know how many times he visited the pits already today. Quincy 5 times. Okay, that's only his second stop apparently. Maybe his third, let's see. Yeah, that was his third, okay.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. How has he not done his second pit stop with this few laps to go? But in the end, the counter updates, well, we'll be back. Well, this should be the 4th and final safety car, considering how little time there is remaining. But Jolly Boy John brings out safety car number 4 on the restart lap as well. And in the castle section is where he got it. No, it was the lap after the restart, I think it was. And he went into the barrier and got it all wrong. So Jolly Boy John out of the race. And now Eugene as well going into the pit lane gets it all wrong in a similar fashion to what Fellow Son did. Although Fellow Sons could be put on him just being a little angry. But now we had 20 at the beginning. We only have 13 drivers now. And it's looking like this race is Danger David's to lose. He needs an absolutely emphatic restart. And Andy's, softs could be the right call now. They've already caught up to the back of the pack, but I don't think we're going to go racing at the end of this lap. So expect that to be 23 out of 26 when we go racing again. But at the moment now, it's going to be a very interesting end to the proceedings here. Let's keep an eye on other people as well. Andy is down for, as we've already specified, Falcor Warrior with a driver of the day here. Contender up 15 positions on everybody else and could still be in with a shout for the podium before things have ended. And also as well, Pleasant Slate could be on to grab a few positions as well. I'd just like to see what tyre he's on.
Yeah.
Okay. Medium.
Old mediums.
Ooh, old mediums. I don't think he's actually going to go much further. So Williams camp is now relying fully on Falcor Warrior. And Falcor Warrior on extremely old mediums. In fact, worse than...
He's pitting again. I had a feeling right now. I know Snake now, and I had a feeling that he was going to come in again. There's certainly always 2 laps of safety car, and they're all going to put in like some opportunity here because there is one presented to them, and like even a 2-lap old soft tire is going to be a good option here. Or maybe a fresher medium that's only a lap younger. Sometimes in these races you can also lose track of what kind of wear your tires have, and Quincy already on the fifth stop just the lap prior to this, so yeah, that's going to be certainly interesting. Shoutouts to Mr. Ibbo for not crashing it and getting actually some points here, because some faster drivers have not managed to do so.
Absolutely, Ibbo in with a handful of points, it must be said, but still, points all the same. And if you can finish around Baku, you can actually get in with a good, decent result. And for Sir Ibbo, that will certainly be what he is thinking about. And of course, down in 13th in the Haas there, we were watching Pleasant Slate behind Toby there. But they're all going to catch up to the back of the pack, and they should be A-OK. Well, we should be A-OK to go racing for one last time. Hopefully we won't see any further incidents, but as of right now, that castle section catching a lot of drivers out, and it could be a really, really chaotic end to the race. Danger David really just needs to try his hardest to keep everyone behind. It's going to actually be a bit of a close call to see if we go racing again at the end of this lap. We should be, and in fact, yes, we will be, because now he has caught up to the back of the pack. So at the moment now, safety cars should be called in at this moment now, and Danger David will take over proceedings now. He is going to slow the pack right down. He'll be in charge of the restart. As we've said earlier on, it is up to Danger David, because he's got to wait for the safety car to come into the pits. So keep an eye on that yellow dot, and once it's in the pits, it's up to David when we go racing. So let's hand the audio over to the Red Bull engine. And picks his moment just before, I think that was the DRS activation zone. So across the start-finish line now, he's going to find himself half a second up on Race Chase. But does Flip try and have a go for third? No, not quite. He isn't close enough. But at the moment, Andy remains fifth. I think I may have seen some carbon fiber go flying there, but not too certain about anything as of right now. As Andy now up into fourth place, we have a caution yet again.
Falcor!
One for Falcor Warrior. And I think maybe just going side by side, Warrior was forced off the track, Herman.
Yeah, maybe also missed his breaking point there for turn 2. A bit too nervous as Pleasant Snake is already into P10 here on the restart. And yeah, David has made a very nice restart again. Also, Jolly Boy John, even with the older mediums, could manage to do so. And we argued that the time is also good for him because Race Chase with his still damaged front wing is probably going to be hard to overtake, even if he's slower than these guys behind him on the inside of the castle section as well, especially when it gets to these traction zones where you need a bit of extra downforce. Very wide there over the line for Race Chase, and Flip is looking to be presenting himself an opportunity here. Looking feisty already as David gets further away here. 9/10 almost. And that's going to be very important once we hit the break. Oh, there's another collision with Toby! Into the wall goes the Ferrari in turn 15. And that is certainly a damaged front wing I would expect as we head to the main straight. No DRS as of right now, but for the next straight, because the DRS zone is already activated for the next lap. The first lap after the safety car restart. Flip is looking feisty here. And he's going for the inside of the Alpine and takes second away from him. And since Andy is not overtaking any of these two, he's certainly up to a net podium position behind David. Let's see. Yeah, he has no DRS because of this fighting, but Andy goes to the inside of the Alpine. Cannot complete the move before the braking, but goes side by side before the apex and then completes it. And is now looking to find a way past the Haas. And everything that the Haas can do will be gladly appreciated by David, because he knows there's a certain someone on soft tires coming, and it's no one else. There's no one better to be in these kind of positions now as Andy, the 3-time back-to-back world champion, currently up and through the caster section. No incidents for some corners now. And we have seen that he's sticking to that rear of the Haas, going through the fast double left-hander, not looking for a move on the inside. He knows the DRS is going to be very powerful. No need to make himself vulnerable on the main straight, as we only have a couple of laps left.
Indeed, as now we are going to be starting lap 25 out of 26, and you know what? Flip has done what David would have wanted him to do. 2.2 seconds with only 2 laps to go, and the Flip is going all the way to the inside. We go on board with the Mercedes here, and now surely it's only a matter of time before that DRS opens. Flip doesn't really try and fight this too hard, and David sets the fastest lap of 1:41.658, and he might have been a couple of tenths off of that. But does Flip now try and fight back for second place? Is he trying to keep Tabran behind? And here we go. We're going to find out now. Flip opens that DRS, but I don't think he's close enough to have a go. So I think that battle is going to fade out quicker than I would like to admit. Also, just something in the background to appreciate is Sir Ibo, after Toby's little collision with the barrier last time around, he is now up into 12th, so he's going to take a gracious amount of points, and he'll be grateful for that all the same. But now Andy is already on the charge, fastest in a personal best through Sector 1. I can't imagine now the lap time this will produce. This leading battle is going to go down to the final lap. It is, wow, nearly getting it wrong there through the castle section, but keeps it all together just. But that's now back to 1.5 seconds, 1.2 seconds now. Andy is flying, Herman.
He certainly is. Almost took 6/10 inside of the first sector away from David, and despite the Scotsman's best efforts, he is inside of the DRS window right now. He's going to post the fastest lap in a blistering fast pace, and he's going to be having that ERS assistance that the Red Bull didn't have. And if he makes this right, there will be no second opportunity for the Red Bull to come back on this, neither into turn 4, into turn 3, nor on the main straight on the next lap, as we approach the final 6.0 kilometers with Andy posting the fastest lap of the race. He wasn't fast enough to get by on this occasion, and I think now he is looking at that final attempt on the main straight, because he is certainly with an advantage inside of the second sector, might have more downforce to boot, as Flip is in the background defending off T-Brand or Energetic, both at the same time maybe, and he needs to make sure that there's still enough energy left for that main straight, because these two are not moving past him as he hits the wall there on the outside. No damage done to the Haas driver. Oh, and there's another collision. Falco and Sir Ibo. Oh no. But they're not out, they're just continuing as we turn back our attention to the fight for the lead of the race and the eventual race win.
Here we go, through the castle section we will go for the last time, for the 26th time in this race. It looked like Andy had a moment there and onto the entry, but he gets it all together, 0.6 of a second, separating the Mercedes and the Red Bull here, but Andy got that a little wrong there just now, so that might be enough to give David the win, but it's all got a couple of corners to go still. Andy not using all the track there, so David will get the better exit. How about through the final corner where it matters? Half a second separating them all. Here we go, down to the start-finish straight. Andy is leaving it all on the line. He uses his overtake now. I think this is Andy's. It is gonna be, because he'll approach the DRS activation zone right now. It's open. What can he do? David and Andy for the win at the line. It's Andy by nothing at all. 0.004 of a second there, separating them. Flip will come home third, Energetic fourth, Quincy sixth, to Brown fifth, Kovachka seventh, Race Chase eighth at the end of all of that, only by 12 hundredths even. Then Devsy in 10th, Valcor Warrior, who was putting in a driver of the day kind of drive, could not bring it home fully. It will be 11th place for him, but still a nice gain of positions for the Williams driver. Then it's Ibo coming across the line in 12th, still a handful of points for him, but of course there might be some investigation into a collision once the racing has proceeded. And then Toby will be on lucky number 13 this time around. It is 13th place for him, and that concludes what was a crazy race in Baku this evening. What a way to end that out.
Holy fucking shit. What a photo finish, 4 safety cars, huge drama between two teammates in one division, rivals in this one. There was 2 people crashing it inside the pit lane. We had 4 or 5 DNFs alone in the caster section as we watch Andy take another top step of the season by 48,000 of a second in front of David, who steps up to the podium for the 3rd time in the season. And Flip, after a fantastic 4th position, he will be on the final step of the podium to take home more and more points, and V-Cup have earned that. T-Brand 5th, as he said. Quincy also close to that fight at the end, but there was nothing left in terms of a racetrack to be going and doing overtakes. Kovachka 7th taking the in-game drive of the day. Race Chase only 8th. Must be wondering what went wrong there. Pleasant Snake 9th. Devsy on his debut 10th. 11th for the other debutant. And there's Ibo with Toby, and the rest has not finished, including big names like Moksha and Fellison we just discussed.
Crazy racing, and in the end Andy still was able to take the win, but only because of that 4th safety car, which was brought out by Jolly Boy John. It must be said, if Jolly Boy John had kept that all together, he would have been, well, it would have surely have gone to Danger David, but in the end it was only mere hundredths that lost it in the end. But yeah, no, it has been certainly an evening to remember in SSRL history. Certainly one that was crazy enough. Herman, I've got to kind of thank you for stepping in with this recording,
No
of course,
problem.
after the stream went all sorts of wrong. So thank you to Herman as well. And as Herman is currently leading things as of right now, I will leave that to him to sign things off, unless if we are going to have interviews.
Yeah, I'm just checking this going on.
Yeah. Well, just be a couple of moments with that one.
I'm just gonna stream you
Yeah.
this if you want to look at the final result once again. Just inside of our tool.
So we'll just wait for the top 3 to make their way. But as
Yeah.
just a reminder, it is Herman, Danger David, and Flip we will be speaking to. We'll just wait for the top 3 to make their way in, and then we will take it from there.
I guess so.
But there you go. There's the live timing right in front of us here. And we will soon be with the interviewees. Let's see who we are waiting for. We're still waiting on David and Flip as of right now. But yeah, Herman, how do you unpack a crazy race like that? That is absolutely insane stuff.
Yeah, I've not felt the adrenaline these drivers must have felt, especially David and Andy on the final straight. But I can tell you, I certainly need a lie down after we concluded this one. David is here now, just waiting on the judgy of Flip, and then we can get things underway. And yeah, as I said, we were guaranteed basically someone new on the podium, and yeah, as David joined Andy for another time here, we just saw Flip continues great performance, bringing good points to the Haas team. That has now probably jumped a couple of positions. Look at that, it's currently 7th, and they will be opting for new heights very soon, I guess.
Yep, and we're still waiting for Flip just to make his way into the comms box as of right now. But absolutely, we had to literally say goodbye to some big names there. Of course, David put in an absolutely excellent performance there in 2nd place. I would almost say, I think if I've calculated this correctly, he should be able to overtake a couple of people. But as of right now,
yeah, I think Moksha was 10 points between them.
I don't think he'll be. Will he be in 3rd?
Yeah, 3rd for certain. But the gap to Fellison is big too big. And
Gap to Fellison is too big.
Yeah, they will make a jump past Aston Martin, but still a way to go for Sauber as well, with Koviska being in 8th there. So that was certainly still a long shot. I think we just maybe try and get this one underway. And start off with Andy. Andy, congratulations on your next win inside of the season, making it 4 out of 5. But this one was certainly hairy and a nail biter. Lots and lots of safety cars. You have just had a test drive basically yesterday, and this time it's a photo finish with David, your rival from last time out. And just tell us about how your race went from especially that moment where you had damage to your front wing inside of this 3rd safety car restart, and how that race went down from there at that stage, and how you fought and managed to came back from that and take the win here on the line.
Yes, for sure. It was really hard to anticipate anything that happened in this race. With so many safety cars, really any strategy just goes out the window. And as you noticed, after the 2nd safety car, I think it was a lot of people stayed out. So I decided to pit, and when I came out, I was in the middle of the pack. And yeah, trying to overtake, I got a bit too ambitious and damaged the front wing. Also had an incident in qualifying in an in lap where I damaged the car again. This time I did total damage. So yeah, not everything went so smooth as yesterday, but yeah, happily somehow, I don't know I don't know how, but I managed to survive to the end and pull out this really surprising result.
Yeah, there was obviously one moment that we kind of looked at and thought, that was certainly maybe a learning from yesterday. Yesterday we're in this kind of position where you opted for that hard in the 2nd stint, and kind of that was the, let's say early sacrifice David also needed to make, because you had already done your 2nd stop by the safety car time came, and he was still basically set back, and if there was no other safety car after that stage, would have had the way through the fight and needed to make way through the traffic again. Was that something you were keeping an eye out from yesterday? Because obviously you made the mediums last, as you told me as well, they were kind of comfortable for you. But obviously the Williams kind of had the long-lasting tire against you yesterday. Was that something you looked into in terms of strategy, despite all of these interruptions with the safety car?
Yes. With the first safety car being so early on, I think it was lap 5. I thought that it would be very probable that we would have another one before half race distance. So today I decided to go for the medium for the second stint, as you said. But yeah, the subsequent safety cars at the end really didn't made the strategy not very relevant. So yeah, in the end, I had a new set of softs, and I went for those, and managed to get them to last pretty decently. I think it was 7 or 8 laps, and yeah, they were pretty good in the final laps, and they pretty much got me the win. So yeah, tire wise, I think I made decent choices today. I'm happy about it.
Okay, just throwing it to Dave. Anything you want to add there?
Not well, not too much. I only have really one question, Andy. Of course, like, no, from myself as well. Congratulations on your win. That was absolutely amazing to watch, and really only a few hundredths separated you and David at the end there. I do just want to ask though. After the third safety car restart, found yourself down in 8th. What was your focus then? Were you trying to focus on getting the win, or was it more just consolidating the podium before the fourth safety car came out?
I was just trying to survive. I know that uh, the points are the point system is very tied up. So it's really important to get to finish every race, because DNF has a very strong negative impact. So I was just trying to get the car home, and after the last safety car, when I found myself in P5, I think it was, I was struggling to see who was first. I always saw the two cars in front of me, but never the first one. So I didn't know who I was fighting. Uh, Once I saw it was Dave, yeah, that's when I thought that I will probably end up losing the win. But I don't know. Somehow the tires held up really good, so managed to get it in the end. So yeah, congratulations to him anyway for a very strong race.
I will just say as well, in Division 2, this is your 4th win in a row. And I must say, since I've started broadcasting this SSRL, this has been your best start to the season thus far. You're now on 4 wins in a row, I think it is. And I mean, it's surely only up from here. I mean, even when you have one of your, let's say, not one of your best, even then, it's still a pretty good result. So you must be feeling pretty good about the rest of the season from this really nice stepping point.
Yeah, it's a good feeling. It's a new feeling for me. I've never led a season so early on. Don't know exactly what to pin as the cause. I didn't do anything differently regarding my practice program. Maybe even a bit less, to be honest. I've had uh, many days in a row where I didn't touch the game, and that didn't happen in the past seasons. I don't know. Maybe it's the new wheel, or something. Just or I'm just a bit luckier this season, but it seems to go pretty well so far.
All right. Well, look, I won't keep you any longer. But Andy, thank you so much for taking our questions this evening, and we will see you next week, more than likely.
Yep. Yep. Thank
Certainly.
you. Hope to see
All
you.
right then.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye for
Bye.
now. Next, and last but definitely not least, it is David here, who sadly had the win taken away by mere hundredths on the final lap. Congratulations on second place regardless, though. That must have been quite an intense race, but that fourth safety car was really the difference maker. How were you kind of feeling in those last few laps?
I thought the performance was good. I stayed consistent really from start to finish, and that was the aim. Obviously, the final safety car, I did think Andy was going to catch up. He had the pace in him, so it was just about kind of damage control. As soon as I seen Race Chase take his front wing off, I knew it was just P2 was probably the best we could get.
Mm.
I'm very happy with the result. I think it was a good performance.
I'm glad that at the very least. I'm just thinking though. Do you think that the difference maker could have been that fourth safety car? Do you think you would have still had the lead, or despite there being 3 safety cars, do you not think that would have been enough to really hold on for the win?
Good question. And the thing is, like, I think I had the pace to. If it wasn't for that final safety car, I think the gap was big enough, and there was enough cars in between to potentially get me to the finish line. But still, it would have been tight. Andy's pace was fast, and on them softs, man, he was rapid.
Absolutely. Going into this race, would there have been anything you'd have done differently, or from what it sounds like, you would have been very happy regardless?
Honestly, I'm very content with the performance. I think the main thing was keeping my car out of the wall, and I didn't touch the wall once. So that was the kind of good result in the end for myself. That's what I was looking for, and it really did pay off. So happy.
Fair enough. Herman, have you got anything further?
Yeah, strategically wise, we just wanted to take a look at that phase where obviously when you go into the first safety car, sometimes there's just this continuous domino effect of more coming. But at that stage, you were still on that first stop. You still needed to make one. We're on that Haas. We just heard from Andy that he kind of learned that from yesterday. Also, the advantage to him, despite already his pace being very strong. Did you feel like there was more opportunity held for you with the other safety cars coming up? Obviously, when you are in front, you're vulnerable to DS overtakes or people staying behind in your slipstream. But then at that stage, you were still looking for that opportunity to make something work that was, in terms of strategy, not there at that stage. How was this kind of up and down feeling and the changes you maybe needed to make to your strategy on the fly instead of these 2 to 3 interferences from the safety car at that stage?
Yeah, I think the overall strategy. I knew the tire wear was quite low, for some reason around here, especially on the mediums and the hards. I think not having experience racing Azerbaijan for the last probably 3 or 4 months, and especially now with a two-stop implemented to the race, I feel that I didn't have the experience there, but I knew that I was quite consistent around this track. I always have been, apart from a few incidents. And I felt like if I could keep towards the front of the pack, I would be in with a chance of a podium. The last thing I wanted was to get stuck in the middle of the pack or towards the back and try and go for reckless overtakes and cost myself or somebody else a race. So I just wanted to keep as close to the front as possible for as long as possible. And it did pay off. It worked out quite well in the end, actually. Pure luck, nothing else.
Yeah, would say that there was certainly an element of sometimes there was an advantage towards Andy in that race, sometimes it was toward you, and then it switched around every time. You just needed to stay at the top of your game, and certainly you did. Congratulations again on that second place, despite it being so close. I hope you can take something from that and confidence into next time in Hungary, and see you hopefully around for this one.
Thanks very much. Thank you.
All right, David. Anything you want to say as a wrap up for today? I think there was certainly an element of we didn't see that coming in multiple ways. Lots and lots of crashes, and a new guy on the podium is always nice to see. Hungary is going to be a very different kind of track, very high on downforce, and the tire wear is usually very low there as well. So people will be looking for all kinds of different strategies, and you need to make sure that you're not stuck inside of a train, because overtaking is going to be near impossible compared to Azerbaijan today. So, yeah, anything you want to say to wrap this up here tonight?
Well, I kind of first of all want to apologise for the fact we didn't have a stream today. That was just really, really, really unfortunate and very sad. No issues came up in testing, but sadly, when it came down to being live, just had, unfortunately, everything go against us. So I do want to apologise to everybody in the league and to Quincy especially for that happening. It was just really unfortunate, I'm afraid. But like, hopefully we can salvage something with this recording. So I'm hoping for that at the very least. Herman, of course, thank you very much for stepping in when you needed us to. That was absolutely incredible work
No
from
problem.
you. And also as well, like, in terms of the actual race itself, it was certainly a crazy one that will go down in the SSRL history books for certain. That one was very chaotic, very explosive in a way. Like, we have two of our top three not finishing today, and I think Danger David will certainly start to be looking to be a bit of a contender, but unfortunately did lose points to Andy as well. And Andy just proving to us again why he's a 3 in a row champion in SSRL. And anyway, that's really all I've got to say. So overall, an expected winner, but the chaos happened behind him.
Yeah, certainly. I'm looking forward to see what any of these drivers can throw in Andy's way in Hungary. He always loves these downforce tracks, high downforce tracks, and there's certainly some element also to track limits and maybe people getting in the way in sort of a traffic jam. And if there's a safety car, things get you need to think 4 steps ahead of everyone, because you're not going to be able to keep track of all of these different tire strategies and everything. So I'm looking forward to more chaos potentially, but in a certain other way, with walls being certainly still close, and but the overall speed is going to be way less. But I expect to be I'm expecting to see a lot of speedy people coming back. Fallison and Moksha not finishing today, certainly a surprise, but Moksha was also good in Hungary, almost took his main win there in the league we just merged together for Mondays, and he's going to be looking for maybe spoiling Hungarian home party as well. And Fallison probably likes to bring some joy to the fans as well. See you next time. Thank you very much for watching, and thanks to you again, David, for this joint comms today. And see you next time in Hungary. Goodbye.
Absolutely. See you next week. Bye-bye.